Sergeant, on the 8th of October, when there was a search of your house, the police officers found 385,000 rands, 175 rands in cash in a safe in your house. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you explained to them that 5,175 was yours and the 380,000 was your brother's. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the 385,000 was the purchase price that had been paid, well, was most of the purchase price that had been paid to your brother for the sale of a truck. 380,000 in cash was paid to your brother. There was an extra 20,000 outstanding. That's correct?
That's correct.
Now, you deal with that explanation in your statement, and you attach a range of annexures. So on page 4, you refer to these annexures of the statement. So you say, proof of purchase truck averred is attached as annexure B. Photos of the truck sold are attached as annexure D. Affidavit of the purchaser confirming the same is attached as annexure E. Sale agreement between seller and purchaser is attached as annexure F. So if we go to annexure B, it is an affidavit from your brother, who your brother Becky, whose full names are Abednego Bongani.
That's correct.
And he indicates that he's the owner of Ngape Share Construction and Projects, and he runs that business. And he sold his truck, and he gives the registration number. He says, I previously sold my truck to Whitman with registration, and he gives the registration number to Mr. Ngwato on behalf of the above-mentioned entity to Ngape Share for an amount of 380,000, as it was 6 years old in my possession, with intent to deposit a new truck to run the company in personal errands. He says that the previous registration number of the truck was DWJ 906MP. So his affidavit says that he sold the truck for a price of 380,000. Then we see a document that appears on page 15 of the statements bundle.
Page 15.
That's it. And it is called the sale agreement between Abednego Nkosi and Sgt Ngwato. And it says, I, Abednego Bongani Nkosi, selling my truck, make man TGA 26.480 with registration number with the amount of 400,000 to Mr. Sgt Ngwato with the ID. He only paid the sum of 380,000 and promises to pay the balance of 20,000 in no time. Now, that document called the sale agreement is signed by your brother on the 7th of October 2025, and by the purchaser, Mr. Ngwato, on the 19th of December. So that document, certainly not in the form in which it is currently attached to your affidavit, that document couldn't have existed when your affidavit was commissioned, because that affidavit was commissioned on the 16th of December. You see, if you go back to page 4. So on the 16th of December, there couldn't have been a sale agreement that was signed on the 19th of December. Was there any sale agreement in existence on the 16th of December?
No, there was not.
So there was no sale agreement in existence on the 16th of December.
Okay, maybe I did not understood your question clearly.
The sale agreement that you've attached as Annexure F is if you go down to page 15 of that bundle, you'll see it's a document that's signed by the buyer.
Yes.
On the 19th of December. Now, when you sent your affidavit, it didn't have the annexures. The affidavit was signed on the 16th of December. And you'll see on page 4 that the affidavit was signed on the 16th of December. So that document that we see at page 15 couldn't have existed when your affidavit was signed. It only came into existence 3 days later when it was signed on the 19th.
Interpreter?
Sorry?
No, I want the interpreter to interpret.
So, okay, let me start again. If we go to page 15, we see that the buyer's signature is dated 19 December.
Utoku page 50. Umuntu wayethenga i-truck leyo. I-date yakhona ibhalwe nge-19 zaka December.
I-date asayine ngayo.
Isayinwe nge-19 zaka December.
Njalo.
But if we go back up to your affidavit, we see that your affidavit is dated 16 December. That's on page 4.
Mr. Siritsana?
Udwa i-date uma kubhekwa i-date kuleso statements akho noma i-affidavit oyifakile, i-date yakhona ukuthi i-dated i-16 zaka December.
Ngiyayibona?
I see it.
Now, if you look at paragraph 17 of your affidavit, you'll see that the sale agreement that we've just looked at is supposed to be Annexure F to your affidavit that you signed on the 16th of December.
ubheka kule affidavit yakho ku paragraph 17 ya affidavit ukuthi I sale agreement leyo fakile ku annexure F.
Akusingalendela Mr. Charlton achaza ngakhona.
The last statement.
So if we look at paragraph 17 of your affidavit, which was signed on the 16th of December,
With paragraph 17 affidavit we signing a 16th of December mabheka kuyo.
it says, the sale agreement between the seller and purchaser is attached as per annexure F.
Kuthiwa isivumelwano sokuthengiselana phakathi komthengisi nomthengi ibhalwe idate yakhona i-agreement izonge 19 zaka December.
No,
Sorry.
please repeat the question.
It says, the sale agreement between seller and purchaser is attached as per annexure F.
Mr. Skelton, I think the problem is there are 5 items there, or 6 items. So Sgt Nkosi is struggling to find the item you are referring to. It's the second last item in paragraph 17. So that's what you are being referred to.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
You see it now?
now I see it.
Yeah.
Now, when we received the affidavit, it didn't have annexures. Should we interpret that, or are you happy to proceed without?
I have it.
You,
I heard you, yes.
you heard me.
Yes.
The annexures came later, after 19 December.
Your response, Sergeant Nkosi?
Okay.
Do you agree? You agree that the annexures came later? The annexures referred to in paragraph 17. Do you agree that they came later? That is later than the affidavit itself?
Yes, I agree, because if I remember getting the letter with that effect, that they are outstanding. But I would not remember exact the dates when I send them back again.
Now, the annexure F that was ultimately sent to us, the annexure F that we see on page 17, sorry, page 15, page 15,
1.5, yes.
1.5. That annexure couldn't have existed when you signed your affidavit on the 16th of December because it was only finalized on the 19th of December. You see that?
Interpreter?
So i-annexure leyo ifakile noma i-affidavit leyo khulunywa ngayo ku-annexure F. Bongeke ukuthi ke ikhona futhi uyifake emuva hayi ngale date leyo noma uyibhalwe ngaleyo date leyo ukhuluma ngayo 16 zaka December.
Mr. Charles, are you referring to the physical document or are you referring to a valid and binding sale agreement?
No, the physical document, not,
physical
no, there may have been another sale agreement. I'm going to get to that later.
Ukhuluma ngesivumelwano sokuthengiselana.
Beyikhona?
Nkosi?
Beyikhona?
Bokhona. Since I was there,
It was there.
it was there.
But it's dated 19 December. So the signature of Mr. Ngwato is dated 19 December. So are you saying that that signature dated 19 December was there on 16 December?
Kuthiwa nomzana uNgwato i-signature yakhe ikhuluma ukuthi dated nge-19 zaka December. Manje wena kule statement saka 16 uchaza ukuthi ke leso affidavit yakhona beyikhona ngaleyo date 16.
Cha, i-19 akana ukuthi izingeza before i-15.
Angisho?
I-19 akuna kuti zingeza before i-16.
There's no way that the 19th could come before the 16th.
That's what I thought too. So this document that we see, the document at Annexure F, it didn't exist when your affidavit was signed.
Le document okukhulunywa ngayo kwi-Annexure F beyingekho ngaleso sikhathi wena wenza i-statement i-affidavit yakho nge-16 December.
Bekhona kodwa beyingasayinwanga.
It was there, but it was not signed.
I see. So it was there, but not unsigned. Had you seen it?
Ukuthi bekhona kodwa bengasayinwanga uye wayibona na?
Mangifake imininingwane yonke bekade ifuneka bengifake konke.
When I submitted all the documents that were required, I included everything.
So had you seen an unsigned version of that affidavit, of that sale agreement?
Ngabe wena i-sale agreement leyo engasayinwanga uye wayibona na?
Kunjalo.
That's correct.
If we go to page 7, we see your brother's affidavit. You see it?
Kunjalo.
I see it.
He says that he sold his truck for an amount of 380,000. You see that?
Uthi wadayisa i-truck yakhe for imali engango 380,000 rand uyayibona lapho?
Kunjalo.
That's correct.
He says nothing about 400,000.
Akukho la khuluma khona ngo 400,000 rand.
Kunjalo.
That's correct.
And his affidavit is commissioned on the 19th of December, we see on page 8, also by Mr. Ngwato. You see that?
Kunjalo.
That's correct.
Now, according to you, both your brother and Mr. Ngwato knew that the real purchase price was 400,000.
Uthi okuya ngawe ukudayiselana kwale truck phakathi kobhuti wakho kanye no Mr. Ngwato kuya ngawe i-400 bayathengiselana ngo 400,000 rand.
Kunjalo.
That's correct.
So why does your brother's affidavit speak of a purchase price of 380,000?
Manje kungani i-affidavit kabhuti wakho ikhuluma ngokuthi bathengiselana ngo 380,000 rand?
Kukhona nalapho ethi ubaba uNgwato ubhadale i-380 outstanding ye-20,000 khona kula.
There is where he stated that Mr. Ngwato paid the amount of 380 and there is a balance of about 20,000 rand.
But that's not what he says in his affidavit. If you go to page 7,
Kodwa akusiyo lokho akushoyo ku affidavit yakhe napana ku page 7.
you'll see paragraph 4
Bheka ku paragraph 4
is where he deals with the price.
kula khulunywa khona ngeprice.
I aver further that I previously sold my truck to wit man with registration number KN33RNGP to Mr. Hartley Ngwato on behalf of above-mentioned entity to wit Ngape Share Construction for an amount of 380,000 rands. as it was 6 years old in my possession with intent to deposit a new truck to run the company and personal errands. I further state that the previous registration was DWJ. You see that? There's no mention of 400,000.
Uthi uyabona kuleso statement affidavit leyo akukho khona la khuluma khona ngo 400,000.
Ngokwazi kwami nangesivumelane sakhe i-truck behamba ngo 400,000 yingako mawuvula lapha ku annexure E page 13 uzothola lapho uMr Ngwata echaza khona kangcono noma kalula ukuthi iprice noma inani le trucker kwaku 400 outstanding kwaku 20,000.
According to me and my knowledge, and also what I know, I heard, now, if you check on Annexure E, page 13, there is where Mr. Ngwatu explains clearly about the purchase price of about 400,000.
Yes, I see that in Mr. Ngwato's affidavit, but it's not in your brother's affidavit. He just says the price was 380,000.
Uyakubona lokho ku affidavit ka Mr. Ngwatu kodwa ku affidavit ka bhuti wakho akukho la kukhulunywa khona ngaleyo mali 400,000.
Ngingeke ngijule kakhulu kuloko kubhalwe umfowethu kodwa ngiyacabanga ukuthi ngesikhathi ebhala ubekade ebhala into ebekade iphethe kuyena ewu380.
I won't go deeper into what my brother have said, but I believe that when he was writing, that he was talking about what he had in his hand. When he mentioned the price of 380.
Well, we may have to ask your brother about this, but it's not what he says in paragraph 4. He says he sold his truck for an amount of 380,000.
Uthi akusiyiloko akushoyo umfowenu ukhuluma ukuthi uthengise i-truck ngemali engango 380,000 rand.
Now, if the agreement of sale that we see on page 15 existed at the time that your brother had deposed to his affidavit, do you think it's likely that he as the seller would have said the purchase price is 380, not 400,000?
Uma kubheka lapha ku page 15 kuleyo affidavit, uma kwenza leso sivumelane sokuthengiselana, ngabe ubhuti wakho wayengeke aze akhulume ngaleyo amount ye 380,000 ukuthi bathengiselana ngayo?
Ngicela uphinde futhi lo mbuzo ngifuna ukuzwa ukuthi ngothola nje kahle.
Mr. Nkosi requests that the question be repeated. Mr. Charlson?
If the agreement of sale providing for a 400,000 purchase price existed at the time that your brother deposed to his affidavit, do you think it is likely that he, the seller who was entitled to the price, would he have mentioned the price as 380,000, not 400,000?
Kuthiwa ngalesikhathi ubhuti wakho asayina i-affidavit yakhe yokuthengiselana, ucabanga ukuthi ke bekungeke yena ubhalwe i-amount leyo 400,000 rand ukuthi bathengiselane ngayo?
God, you can. You wanted to say something, Chair, or maybe.
Please, Please respond. You are already beginning to.
Oh, maybe I wanted to make it one package, but let me separate them.
Wayengabhala u 380,000 uma babevumelene ngo 400,000.
Mawubheka lapha ku annexure F ithi isivumelano sokuthengiselana uyichazile ukuthi uthengisa nge 400,000 and then kubhadalwa u 380 kuzosala u 20,000.
Umnumzana Shaskalsin ukubuza ngalokhu okubhalwe ku paragraph 4 where affidavit come forward.
Yebo mphathi.
Yeah, manje ufuna ukuqonda ukuthi wayengabhala kanje umfowenu uma babevumelene ngo 400,000.
Bese ngumphendulile kulokho ngithi maybe kungabe umfowethu ubhale lokhu ebekade kuphethe leso sikhathi esandleni kodwa kuyabuya futhi ku F uyachaza kalula ukuba itracker ithengiswe ngo 400,000 kodwa kwakhokhwa u 380.
On what he said or he mentioned was that the truck was sold at, or the agreement was about 308, and he didn't mention the 400,000, and there is an indication on F where it is dated, indicated that the truck was sold at 380, and the balance of 20,000 rand was outstanding.
I see that in F, but it's not in your brother's affidavit.
Ukuthi kuyabonakala laphana ku annexure F kodwa ke ku affidavit kabhuti wakho ayikho.
If we go to F, which is put forward as the agreement of sale, it's a sale agreement between your brother and Mr. Ngwato, who is an attorney. Is that not right?
Ukuthi mababheka lapho ku sivumelwano sokuthengiselana siphakathi komfowenu kanye no Mr. Ngwato okumele.
Kunjalo.
That's correct.
Does this look to you like an agreement of sale that one would ordinarily see where one of the parties is an attorney?
Kuthi kuyabonakala na kuyabonakala ukuthi ke isivumelano lesi singaba khona phakathi komuntu othengisayo nalo okumele. Ukuthi be khona isivumelwano phakathi komuntu kanye nomeli sokuthengiselana itrack.
I'm not sure that that's accurate. Can you please repeat the question?
You see, well, let me ask it differently. Attorneys are used to drafting agreements of sale, are they not?
Ukuthi abameli bayebona bazidraftele ama-agreement.
Bajwayele
ukudraftela ama-agreement.
Ama-agreement wokuthengiselana.
Kunjalo.
That's correct.
And what provisions one needs to put into an agreement of sale to protect their clients?
Kuyini okufanele kufakwe lapho ku-agreement yokuthengiselana?
Bajwayele nokufaka imininingwane ekufanele ukuthi ifakwe ukuprotecta ngesizulu uthini? Ukuvikela ama-client wabo. Ukuvikela amalungelo ama-client wabo. Ngiphinde bajwayele nokuthi bafake imininingwane yokuvikela amalungelo ama-client wabo. Uyavuma? Abameli usakhuluma ngabameli.
ngabameli ngiyabonga mphathi. Bengifuna ukuthi umnumzane eqale kahle ukuthi umfowethu angichazele yona kangcono khona ukuza so ngoba mayima
Awuyifuni mayivela kimi.
cha izwakala kangcono kamnandi futhi ukudlula mayiza ngapha manje ngifuna ukuthi manje siyehlangana kube inkulumo eyodwa ngikwazi ukuyiphendula ngiyayi appreciate futhi mayiza ngakuwe mphathi.
He wants it coming from Mr. Siritsane.
Maybe repeat it, Mr. Chaskalson, and then it gets interpreted in full.
So we've already established that attorneys are used to drafting agreements of sale,
Kunjalo.
So it's correct?
and they are used to including clauses in an agreement of sale that are designed to protect the interests of their clients.
Bajwayele futhi nokufaka eminye imininingwane ezobangela ukuthi-ke kuprotecteke amalungelo wama-client wabo.
Kunjalo.
That's correct?
So when one sees an agreement of sale drafted by an attorney,
Manje uma umuntu ebona i-sale of agreement, isivumelwano sokuthengiselana esidrafte ngummeli,
it usually includes a whole range of clauses
kufakelwa ama-clause nje amaningi
that are designed to protect a client's interests
lawo-ke awenzela ukuthi kuvikelwe amalungelo womthengi noma i-client yabo.
and may not, and their meaning may not be immediately apparent to a lay person.
The meaning.
Their meaning may not be immediately apparent to a legally untrained person.
Futhi okubhalwe lapho lokhu kuthiwa kuvikela amalungelo wama-client wabo. Ukuzwisisa angeke umuntu ongazi ngomthetho akwazi lokho.
Have you seen an agreement of sale drafted by an attorney?
Uke wayibona i-sale of agreement ebhalwe ngummeli, edraftwe ngummeli?
Cha.
No.
You see, this agreement of sale looks like a document that is really your brother simply confirming that he sold the truck.
Uma ubuka le affidavit ibukeka sengathi ubhuti wakho ubhala nje ukuthi agreement ukuthi ke bathi uthengiselana i-truck.
It doesn't have dates for payments of the balance of the purchase price.
Ayichazi imininingwane yama-date ukuthi ke i-sale price.
It doesn't have provisions dealing with any,
Ayisho lutho ukuthi bathengiselene nini bazobhadalana nini. Uyavuma ibheke.
Ngiyavuma ngisabheke nayo indoda mara ngiyavuma ngiyabonga mphathi.
Please interpret. Please, Mr. Siritsane, please interpret the answer.
Kuthi akubhalwanga ukuthi
He has already responded. Please interpret the response.
I agree. Sorry.
it doesn't have provisions dealing with ownership and risk of the truck until the final purchase price is paid, the full purchase price is paid.
Akukhulumi ngemininingwane yama-riski kuleyo truck nokuthi ke ibalance izokhokhelwa nini.
Do you agree, Mr. Sgt Nkosi?
Uyavumelana lo?
Engifuna ukuthola kahle ukuthi umnumzana uCharleson uyangibuza noma uyangitshela ngikwazi ukuthi ngiphendule kuliphi uhlangothi.
Yes, he's asking you. What he's putting to you are propositions.
Uthi uyabuza lokho akushoyo uloko akutshela kona.
And he wants to know if you agree.
Uthi uzawuthi nangabe uyavumelana nakho.
Ngiyavuma kwelinye uhlangothi kodwa angeke ngaphawula ukuya kuphi ngalesivumelwano sale agreement.
I partly agree, but I won't go into details on the sale of the agreement of sales.
Ngoba mhla umfowethu no Mr Ngwatu babenza lesivumelwano ngangingekho kodwa ngiyasibona siyachaza ukuthi umnumzana uNgwatu uzokhokha kumaduze.
I was not present when the sale of agreement was made between my brother and Mr. Ngwatu, but it appears that that there will be a payment made in due course.
Futhi kuyahluka kwabantu ababili abenza isivumelwano kuya ngokuthembana kwabo ukuthi kukhona imigomo ekumele ifakwe lapho noma ingafakwa kodwa angiko phawula ngakuyo ngoba.
And it also differs from the people that are engaged in an agreement of sale, whether they include the clauses that indicate when are they going to pay each other or not, and that it depends on the trustworthy of people.
You see what it looks like. Sorry, let me make one last observation about this this contract. The contract is dated. Your brother's signature is dated 7 October 2025.
I-signature kabutwako i-datwe nge-7 October 2025.
You see that?
Uyayibona lo? Sorry?
Kunjalo.
That's correct.
Was your brother paid on the 7th of October 2025?
Ngabe ubhuti wakho wakhokhelwa ngomhla ka-7 ku-October 2025?
Kunjalo.
That's correct.
And it was just an incredible stroke of misfortune that the very next day you were raided and the money was found and seized.
And kube nesho ukuthi-ke ngalelo langa elilandelayo kuyareyitwa lapho kuwe kutholakala leyo mali esafini.
Umbuzo ri
Uyakutshela ukuthi ngalelo langa futhi ubhuti wakho uthi ukhokhelwe ngeyi-7 zaka-October ngo-2025. Kuthi ngeyi-8 ilanga elilandelayo wena kuyareyitwa kuwe kutholakala imali leyo kuwe.
kwenzakale kanjalo.
That's how it happened.
Because what this looks to me from the outside is an attempt to explain the presence of 380,000 rands in cash in your safe.
Uma umuntu ubheka from ngaphandle ukuthi impela ukuthi ke ukuzama ukuvikela ukutholakala kwaleyo mali endaweni yakho.
There are so many anomalies. Anomalies.
Just I'm worried that the way you put it, when it gets translated, the witness will concede what you are saying. When you say an attempt, you mean a contrived attempt?
Well, I don't want to say it's a contrived attempt because I don't know whether I can't say there was no sale of a truck, but it does seem to me that the documentation that was put together was documentation put together for the purpose of explaining this cash. The documents as opposed to the sale itself. Because the documents have so many anomalies in them. Anomalies, inconsistencies in them. I don't know how how much of that I need to,
My
repeat.
difficulty remains because I don't think Sgt Nkosi quibbles with your proposition that the affidavits, if you look at the dates, explain how he came into possession of the money. If that's what is put to him, naturally he will say yes.
Well, what I do want to put to you is that these documents were created after the event to try to explain how the money came into your safe.
Udokutshela ke ukuthi ke lama document lawa awafakwa ayenzwa ngesizathu sokuthi kuzama ukuphendula indlela leyo ukuthi ke ukuthi imali leyo itholakale kuwe.
Cha,
No,
nyala.
I'll deny.
You see, the sale doesn't look like a sale that was put together by an attorney.
Ukuthengiselana noma isivumelwano sokuthengiselana asiveli njengesivumelwano esadraftwa ngummeli.
The sale is signed after the affidavit that refers to it.
Nokusayinwa khona emva kwaleyo affidavit okukhulunywa ngayo.
The seller's affidavit doesn't mention that the purchase price is 400,000 as opposed to 380,000.
Uthi isivumelwano sokuthengiselana asichazi ukuthi ke imali abathengiselana ngayo 400,000 rand kunokuthi kubhalwe 380,000.
How do you explain those inconsistencies?
Uchaza kanjani lokungafani kwenkulumo?
Maybe isivumelano sakhe umholi wendaba asikusho lokho. Kodwa lesi sikimi manje page 15 annexure F siyachaza ukuthi imali kwaku 400 ibalance kuzoba 20,000.
Mr. Chairperson, please repeat the question. The interpretation was not accurate. It did not focus on the affidavit of the seller, which I understood your question to relate to.
The seller's affidavit, not the agreement, but the seller's affidavit.
I-affidavit lebavumelana ngayo ukuthi bayathengiselana iyo bakhuluma ngayo.
So, no, the affidavit, please repeat, Mr. Chairperson.
The seller's affidavit.
Mr. Chairperson, we're going to run into this problem. The brother's affidavit.
Okay. Your brother's affidavit.
I-affidavit kamfowenu.
I think maybe we must maybe replace the interpreter because I don't want to be misinterpreted. At the end of the day, I say something that I don't mean, and I'll fight with my honorable commissioners. I don't know if I'm correct, Commissioner. And it would not be fair. It's disrespect from my side when I say, Commissioner or Chairperson, can you interpret while we have the interpreter? I'm just saying that maybe not to change, but at least to have more understanding. Not in a bad way, my brother, because of this is.
We'll just have a chat with the Commission Secretary. Let's continue, Mr. Chairperson.